Karen Andrews is the Home Affairs Minister. We've got a couple of minutes to go before Piers Morgan is on the telly, and I wanted to get her on to talk about a couple of issues, including and most importantly, about the reality of what has been going on with the Solomon Islands and China. Minister, thank you so much for the chat. Look, let's not muck around here. This is a sovereign country. A sovereign country can make its own decisions, but also its own mistakes. And it's also very obvious that China, who's had it in for this government since you stood up to them on the pandemic, is more than happy for this to have played out like it has for the past week.
Well, that's an observation that, quite frankly, a number of people are making anyway. We've been very clear as a government that the Solomon Islands is a very good neighbour of ours. We have been a very good neighbour to the Solomon Islands. The Pacific region is our region, and what is happening there is effectively happening in our backyard. We are very conscious of the action that China has taken. Now, anyone who thinks that the only action that China is going to take is to sign an agreement with the Solomon Islands and that will be it, is quite frankly quite naive in their thinking, because what China is doing is more at the start rather than at the end of what China is likely to do in our region. Now, as a government, we are very mindful of China's activities here. We will always put Australia and Australian interests first, second, third and fourth. And that's the way that we will be proceeding. So I think there are a lot of questions that that people should be considering and really thinking about.
I'm pushed up here against time, but let's be very clear. Albanese has been lying about boats, and Christina Keneally has no idea how temporary protection visas work and how important they are. They say they back Operation Sovereign Borders, but it has three parts. It's not a buffet.
That's right. That's right. And when Labor got rid of temporary protection visas in 2008, in 2009, 60 boats arrived. And between 2010 and 2013, there was an average of 195 boats arriving each year. So that tells you what happens when you get rid of temporary protection visas. And we put them back in at the end of 2013. One boat arrived in 2014 and none since.
Good stuff. Thank you, Minister. I really do appreciate it. We'll talk to you again in longer form before we are done in the election.